Namaskar. Today we are going to discuss about Central Civil Services Conduct Rules 1964 in our series of Let Us Note Things. The Central Civil Services Conduct Rules 1964 was implemented from 1964 and it is applicable for all the central government employees other than those having separate rules like All India Service officers, IAS, IPS, and IFS, like such services, and railway service, military. They have separate rules, and all the general departments, including postal, etc., they have to follow this rule. Now, if this rule does not apply to an employee, it doesn't mean they are outside the purview of conduct rule. They have their own rule. We are discussing about the common rule. Let us see. There are 25 rules, out of which 20 rules are discussing about the government employees' do's and don'ts. This is very important for every central government employees because not only during his service, even after retirement also, a government servant is expected to behave in a manner which is well of government servant. Any deviation by an employee will lead to disciplinary action. Disciplinary action is normally for minor penalty or major penalty. Major penalty can be removal from government service also. I mean dismissal or removal. And minor penalty, of course, censure. That is a formal warning. It all depends upon the gravity of the misbehavior. So let us see one by one. These conduct rules cannot be discussed in one single video. I will try to complete it within some 6-7 videos. Because it's a vast area and part by part I wanted to make it with the heading we'll try to make, which will be useful for all the central government employees as also the pensioners, because pension is payable based on the conduct. If there is an issue of conduct, government can withdraw pension also. So it is applicable to employees and pensioners also. Let us see one by one. Every government servant shall at all times maintain absolute integrity. So this is the first thing, integrity. There is no compromise on that. Of course, if somebody commits mistake, certainly he will have to face the consequence. So let us be clear that every one of the government servants has to maintain absolute integrity. There is no compromise on that. And every government servant shall maintain devotion to duty. So you need to have a kind of devotion. So duty is foremost because we are paid for it. And every government servant shall do nothing which is unbecoming of a government servant. What is unbecoming of a government servant? Government servant has to maintain certain decorum, certain standard, because they are representing the government of India. So normally this rule, all these conditions starts from rule number 3. So first, maintain absolute integrity is 3.1, and 3.2 is sub-rule 2 is maintaining devotion to duty, and this 3, sub-rule 3, if something mischievous things found from a government servant which is not listed in any of the rules which we are discussing now will be fitting into this, that he has done something which is unbecoming of a government servant. With that, they can take action under the normal rules, under the CCA rules, which we will discuss separately. Now, every government servant shall commit himself to and uphold the supremacy of the Constitution, because our governance, as the government has got three wings: executive wings, legislative wings, and judicial wings. So the Constitution is supreme. All these wings are guided by the Constitution law, and any law passed by the Parliament should be within the purview of Constitution. They can't change it. Of course, Constitution is also subject to amendment. But in the recent Supreme Court decisions, etc., they have made a red line that basic structure cannot be touched upon. Okay, now every government servant shall commit himself to the supremacy of the Constitution, and they are to uphold the democratic values, because our country is a democratic country. So we have to give respect to our democratic values. Every government servant shall defend and uphold the sovereignty, that is the supreme authority of the government, and integrity of India. So nobody can talk against or do anything against the government, the sovereignty of the government, and security of the state. And government servant has got more responsibility on this. And they have to uphold the public order also. That they have to behave in a manner which leads to maintaining public order. Decency. So one needs to maintain decency. Morality. So it is everything. One needs to be a good person. As simple as that. Maintain high ethical standards and honesty. We have already discussed about integrity. Now we are talking honesty. Both are same. Maintain political neutrality. Government is formed by political parties, but government employees cannot side with the ruling party or opposition party, whoever it is. They are part of the government. Government servants are part of the system. They have to follow the government rules only, and they cannot side with any political, be it political party, be it ruling party or opposition party, anything. It is wrong. It is against conduct rules. So they have to maintain political neutrality. Promote the principles of merit. Every government servant shall promote the principles of merit. Now, people might say all reservation is one part. We have discussed something on that also. So that is again within the Constitution. But with all reservation also, every government servant shall promote the principles of merit. Fairness. Fairness is against honesty only. Impartiality. There should be no room for partiality behavior. So one should be impartial to everybody in the discharge of government servant's duty. A government servant, when he does his duty, should be impartial, should be fair enough, and should promote the principles of merit in all his actions. And a government servant shall maintain accountability. Whatever he does, he is responsible for that. So accountability has to be maintained, and transparency. There is nothing to hide. Anything you try to do discreetly in a hidden manner, there is scope for wrongful things. Okay, when you say transparency, it does not take official secrets and all. When there is something like national secrecy on the security of India and other relations with foreign government, those things are all different. We'll discuss separately. But normally, every work should be done in a manner of transparency. So work should be done transparently. And every government servant shall maintain responsiveness to the public. Public are the hegemon of, that is, the total, the government is formed by the will of the people. The government is for the people, by the people, and of the people. So every government servant shall maintain that they have to respond to public immediately, and particularly weaker section. you give more respect to the weaker section people, which will ensure that they feel their concern is addressed by the government correctly. Maintain courtesy and good behavior with the public. And every government servant shall take decisions solely in public interest and use or cause to use public resources efficiently, effectively, and economically. That is, whatever decision you take as a decision making person, that should be only in public interest. The ultimate goal should be for the welfare of the people. So what way? We will discuss separately, because there are certain work people will feel where is the public interest which I am doing. You may be doing internal work. When you do internal work correctly for the department is functioning for public. So you help the department to function, to do things in a manner that public interest is served properly. So every work of ours, even official tour also is called in public interest. What is that you are achieving? When you are achieving the goal of the department, it is public interest. Because the goal of the department ultimately is for the benefit of the public only. Declare any private interest. Every government servant must declare any private interest relating to his public duties and take steps to resolve any conflicts in a way that protects the public interest. So when there is a private, when there is a conflict, you do something, but you feel that your family members are related to some decision you are taking or some contract you are giving, then there is your responsibility is more. We'll discuss in detail about contract etc. separately. But now, private interest should not come in the way of public interest. So public interest shall always prevail. Every government servant shall not place himself under any financial or other obligations to any individual or organization which may influence him in the performance of his official duties. That is, suppose you deal with some organization, NGO, or some private company, contractor, but incidentally you have taken some loan from those guys. No, that is not correct, because you are now bound to obey them, because you have indebted, you have been granted some loan or some concession by them. It should not be that. You can't be under the influence, financial influence of any individual organization, which will have a bearing on your work. So you have to be very careful when you deal with others for financially, in financial matters. You should ensure that there is no official relationship at any time. It will lead to more problem. And every government servant shall not misuse his position as civil servant. Every one of us is a civil servant. We cannot misuse our position and shall not take decisions in order to derive financial or material benefits for the employee himself or his family or his friends. It amounts to corruption. So it can't be done. No, like this, there are many things. Now we are discussing rule number 3. Rule number 3 has got some more points. Those things we will discuss in the next videos. And there are a lot of videos I have put on all government rules and other interest of public interest and other things. If you are interested, you can visit these sites and see it. Thank you.